I need to feel your energy today from start to finish.
Come on, let's go.
Let's crank this thing up. You get real ferocious, I'm trying to tell you.
Turn me up all day.
From the locker room to the broadcast booth, breaking news and the truth behind every take from a real NFL insider and television analyst.
Now get ready for the NFL show where the conversation gets real and the fans get a voice. It's time for the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here on ESPN Radio.
And that's football.
Today, and as always, if you would like to chime in today, because we've got several things that we're going to be breaking down, one of those things being the Washington Commanders, and what we are going to talk about the Washington Commanders is the simple fact is that they've had a really good draft class. They've had some really good undrafted free agent signings, and I want to talk about today, some potential surprises out of that group, and I don't mean the Sonny Styles, who we all expect to be good, but I'm talking about some of the other guys, some of the quote unquote no names. Are there any guys in this group that are capable of making the opening day roster? And I know we're still several months out, before we start really diving into that, but I want to talk about that today. So again, if you want to call us, if you want to chime in and be part of the show today, it's easy. All you have to do is reach out to us at 804-327-0888. Once again, 804-327-0888. Alan, around this time of year, there's always people out there that'll say, oh, this guy's going to make the roster. That guy has an opportunity. And it's tough. It's tough for late round draft picks to make the roster. But in the case of Washington last year, Bill Krosky-Merritt, 7th rounder, made the roster and ultimately became the starting running back for this team. So if there's ever a team where the proof is in the pudding, where they say, Dan Quinn has always said, it's about competition. It's about the best person, winning the job and being out there, where they've proven that they will do that if you come into Washington and do what you're capable of doing and what you're supposed to do. So we'll talk about that. But I wanted to get your take because you, as I like to call you the film aficionado. You watch a lot of film. How many undrafted free agent players nowadays, really have realistic opportunities? If you gave me a percentage, what would you say?
Oh man, I mean, to get into the league, you're part of like the 1%. So undrafted and making a roster, I would say is less than 1%. And it's not that they're not good athletes. It's just a lot of what comes into getting an opportunity to get on an NFL roster is that pedigree.
Yeah.
And the draft kind of solidifies that you have that pedigree. Somebody believes in you, right? If you go undrafted, or if you're really, really late, it's less likely that you'll get the time to prove yourself. And that's really what being a first, second, third round, even the 4th round pick buys you, is time to prove that you can make a roster.
Wouldn't you feel better though? Like if you are let's just say you're one of Washington's undrafted free agents. Wouldn't you feel good knowing that this team is still in the building stages? They're already competitive, but they're still in a building stage. And yet you saw a 7th rounder last year become a starter and now and become a fan favorite too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, if you pay attention to how Adam Peters operates, how Dan Quinn builds a team or what he's looking for in players, there's always like specific skill sets, right? Like the Moneyball analogy. There's always a guy that's maybe not a high average, but he hits a lot of home runs, right? And there's always those types of players. Bill Krosky-Merritt pedigree's a little different, his circumstance a little different, but he's a home run guy, and they needed a home run guy.
Well, and I'm glad you said his pedigree's a little different, because we both know, and we talked about this, you and I, off the air, several times. If he had played his final year in college, he would have been a 4th round draft.
Yeah, and the stipulations of him not playing is just the goofiness of the NCAA.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
absolutely
story.
Goofy.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason why he went as low as he did. But you will get the opportunity if you fit what they're looking for. Like the young man you guys got from Penn State, like he's a bowling ball. Katron's a bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
They need a bowling ball.
Absolutely.
So he's going to get an opportunity to prove that he can make the roster. And I think, again, because he fits a certain type, he'll get a longer leash in a bigger opportunity than he would, say, on a team that's just filling a spot because they gotta draft somebody.
Well, I also think you can look at, their other 6th round pick, because Katron was a 6th round pick as well. But Matt Golbin, the center.
Yeah, I know he doesn't have the highest rates.
Man, that guy's a monster.
But he's a big body. He's a smart guy, and I'm a big proponent. My center's got to be just as smart as my quarterback, if not smarter. Right? I want a guy that can analyze at that center position, because he is your coach of the line. Like, he's going to be talking with your quarterback, getting those adjustments done. So I think he has a lot of upside. It might be based on where he was picked up. It might go down as the best value pick in this particular draft for the Commanders, because going so late, a lot of people not expecting a lot out of him. But I think in some circles, people think they got a steal there.
Well, this is the thing. I've said this over and over, that if you are a kid that has a dream that you're going to be an NFL player and you get drafted, you're one step closer, to making the dream a reality as far as getting on the field for meaningful games. If you're undrafted, it may take you a little bit of time. It may take you a couple years. It may take you just maybe 1 year, but the fact that you could be on someone's practice squad, to me, is on the team. Back in the day, when you were on the practice squad, you weren't really considered part of the team. But nowadays, with practice squads with 16 people, I mean, it's so many players. You're practicing against these guys every day. You're going through the same plays. You might be on a scout team. You may, be filling in for someone. But at the end of the day, you're out there every day. So you have every ample opportunity to prove that you belong. And if it's not for the team you're practicing with, the tape doesn't lie. It could be for another team. So welcome to the NFL if you're these guys. So look, we're going to take a break because, like I said, I've got some guests coming in. You find out who they are when you come back with us here on the show. But I've got some guests that we're going to bring in, and we're going to talk some NFL. Marketing coordinator. So welcome to the crew, Jack Orsi and Zach Glass. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
And they're big time sports fans as well as NFL fans. And I got to tell you, one of them is a Giants fan. So if you're in your car right now and you swerved a little bit, it's okay. There are a lot of Giants fans down here in Richmond. And the other one, ironically, is a Raiders fan. Las Vegas Raiders. Almost said Oakland, almost said LA. They've moved several times. Just joking with you. So let's talk about your teams here. And I'm going to start with you because I'm going to say this. I'm a little worried about the Giants. And not worried in a bad way. Worried because I think John Harbaugh's going up there. There was already some talent. You've got a young quarterback in play. So now you have an opportunity to show the world that you maybe take that next step and be a playoff caliber football team. So with that being said, Jack, what do you think?
I mean, our first round, a lot of fans, kind of controversial. A lot of people wanted Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is tied to the Giants since day one. Personally, I'm thrilled. John Harbaugh has made it very clear. He wants to play smash mouth football. He wants to play physical football. We already have Scattaboo. He wants to run it until the defense can't take it anymore. And then I love the Malinois pick at 10. I know Downs was there. I know Downs would have been great. It really stinks Downs went to Dallas. But hey, a premier offensive lineman, I'm never going to say no to that. And man, Arvell Reese is a stud. He was clearly, I think Harbaugh even said it himself in an interview, that his number one player in the draft. And the Giants basically had to scramble because they thought there was no way he would be there at 5.
Yeah, when you think of what they've done, I think overnight they've addressed 2 really important positions. And whenever you can get more offensive line play, let's face it, the Giants haven't had a good offensive line in a long time. And I think that their offensive line going into this season potentially could be one of the better units. Like I clearly would say on paper, they're clearly one of the upper half, best offensive lines. They have a chance to really be good. And if they can get that kind of play, it's going to change the fortunes of the team, because you do have a running back in Cam Scatteraboo who's, a bruiser, a pinball, bowling ball, whatever you want to call him. So they've got some weapons. And the big key, obviously, is going to be the health of Malik Neighbors. If he can come back and be what he was his rookie campaign, the Giants are going to be a scary football team. So who's your guy on this team that if someone could say to you right now, I'm going to give you a jersey, and don't get too excited because we don't have any here, but I just wanted to say, if someone said we're going to give you a jersey and it's signed, who would you want that to be for your team?
You could go flashy here. Obviously, you got Scatteraboo, you got Neighbors, you got Dart. Andrew Thomas has been
an offensive lineman?
The unspoken hero and best player on the New York Football Giants aside from Dexter Lawrence for the last 3 years. And we finally have a guard in Malagoa and another tackle in Illuminor to make the offensive line more sound across the board. But he has been playing at an all-pro level for 3 years, and no one's talked about him because the Giants have been horrible.
I think that might be a first. Alan, we've had a fan that said they want an offensive lineman jersey. Have you ever heard any such thing? You being a former offensive lineman?
I was not a former offensive lineman. I'm just a big guy. Wow.
Yeah.
But no, I would have took a Joe Staley jersey. So yeah, if it's a legend, why not? Right? I'd get a Trent Williams jersey.
You really gonna do that, man?
I mean,
you're gonna do that.
You're talking to the guy that watches offensive line more than any other position. Like I do talks about the draft, and I force offensive linemen into the top 10 to put it in front of people's face, because when they're bad, that's all you hear about. But when they're good, you rarely hear about any offensive lineman. They don't get enough credit.
Well, speaking of offensive linemen, that's a great segue. That was perfect. That was brilliant how you did that. Zach, you being a Raiders fan, do you feel like they spent a little bit too much money on the center, Tyler Linderbaum, that they went out and got?
I don't know. Maybe a little too much, but I mean, got to protect their new quarterback coming into town, right? So definitely try to protect Kirk Cousins if he's going to be that bridge guy for him. But don't know too much about the Raiders. I grew up watching the Ravens. The Raiders is my dad's team.
Oh, so you're a Ravens guy. So that's
yeah. I like keeping up with the Raiders just so I can talk with my dad about it. But he's always saying.
So watch how I do this. See, folks, this is what you have to do. You have to be prepared just in case. Max Crosby with the Raiders was going to be a Raven, and now he's a Raider again. So what's your take on that? Do you feel like Baltimore did this guy dirty, or are you okay with it because he's back with your team or back with your dad's team?
I'm going to give this one to my dad. I'm going to say, look, I think it's good that he's going to stay on the Raiders, give them another chance to be hopefully better than last year, give them some true potential with this new guy coming into town, seeing if they can raise the bar a little bit.
So you guys have Hendrickson. You have Trey Hendrickson. If you would have had a choice, would you have wanted Max Crosby, or are you okay with Trey Hendrickson now?
I'm going to say I'm okay with Trey.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So I do want Zach to know my favorite player in the NFL is who, Alan? Do you remember?
Your favorite player in the NFL?
My favorite player in the NFL.
I don't remember.
A quarterback.
Is it Jaden Daniels?
Well, that's my second favorite player. So if that's my second favorite, you should know who my first favorite is, because we're talking with a guy who's a fan of that. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan.
That's right.
And I think Lamar does not get the due that he's due, literally. And I also have said this before, it was highway robbery that he didn't get that third MVP. That should not have gone to Josh Allen. I don't care what anyone says. Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions, 9 rushing touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards rushing. That should have gone to him, because that season was better than the 2 MVP seasons that he got. So let's put you on the spot here. The Ravens took a tough fall last year. They did. They struggled. The coach ended up, being let go, so to speak, where they amicably moved on. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Baltimore, with Jesse Minter as the coach now, do you feel like Baltimore can be right back in the thick of it as a Super Bowl contender?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we've seen their past couple of years. They're pretty much up there every year. Just kind of can't get going in the playoffs. But I think these two new receivers they brought on in this draft, and then got Mark Andrews back. I think they're going to be right back up there. I mean, I can't imagine why not.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do now, because these guys are being serious, and they're hearing themselves on radio, and it's understandable. But we're going to break that. We're going to break the ice. We're going to get them to have some real fun here. I'm going to put you two on the spot, and I'm going to ask you to give me your Mount Rushmore for your teams. Okay. But before you do that, I'm going to give you the Mount Rushmore for your teams, and you tell me if I'm wrong, and then we'll get to yours. Okay.
All
right. So we're going to talk with the Giants. Start with the Giants. Alan, you're going to help me on this too. It's obvious who number one is for the Giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's worth the debate, right?
That's a no-brainer, right?
He's from down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he's close by.
You see how we tied that in too? Okay. All right. So Lawrence Taylor's one. Number two, I might shock you on this, because he never really got the love and the due, that he probably could have gotten, because the team was stacked in some other areas. I think you might have to put Phil Simms on that group somehow. I think one of our other guests who's going to be coming on in a second looked at me like, what? I mean, you could go Y.A. Tittle. Is that fair?
You could. It's a little old. I would put Simms over Tittle. I would also put Simms clearly in the 4. I think there's 3 easy answers, and then it's that 4th spot that is.
So Simms will be the 4th guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other guys, Michael Strahan has to be on there.
That's one of them.
Okay. All right. So I'm down to 1. Alan, you got to help me out here.
I want to hear who his 4th is.
Well, he's going to let us know if our 4th doesn't make sense with him being a Giants fan. So Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor, Michael Strahan, and the other one, is it an offensive player?
Yeah. I'd be shocked if this person doesn't make it on.
I can only think of Eli, man, just because he got the 2 Super Bowls. You can't keep them all.
I was going to say, okay, there we go. It's Eli Manning. Okay.
If you put a Giants Mount Rushmore in front of any Giants fan and you had Phil Simms on there and not Eli Manning, you're going to be in for a long conversation.
And both Super Bowls for Eli were improbable by most people's impression, because if I recall, they were meddling a little bit, then they went on a run, they get into the playoffs, and it's like, well, the Giants are in, and then of course they beat the best team and the best quarterback every time.
Twice,
yeah.
So I'm gonna do this now that because I'm a historian. You've got to take Phil Simms off that list. You have to, because there's 2 guys, and there might be some older people out there, and we're trying to show you some love. We haven't forgotten about you. It's got to be Y.A. Tittle or Frank Gifford. It's got to be one of those guys.
That 4th spot is really tough. Another name that came to mind, shout out my dad, raised me a Giants fan. I don't like him sometimes for it, because the last decade's been rough.
Right.
Shout out my dad, Mark Bavaro. There's a conversation there. But
Mark Bavaro was quick. He had a short career. But great tight end. He was kind of like the modern big tight end, Gronk style tight end. And I remember he used to torment Washington big time. But I don't know if he's in there, because if you're going to do that, then you could say like Harry Carson. I mean,
Shockey,
Banks, Jeremy Shockey. Yeah, you could do that. I think for the sake of a Rushmore, you got to have some representation from generations ago. So I'm gonna make the pick. I'm gonna say Y.A. Tittle.
I can respect that. I think him and Simms, are very close in my mind.
Okay, you were impressed with that, weren't you, Alan?
I was actually thinking about the generational thing too. I feel like you should tie it in.
You have to.
If not generations, maybe consider eras, things like that. Like Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms are basically the same era. It was great times for sure for Giants fans, but I don't know if both belong on there. And you can't take Taylor off.
And just so for our listeners right now and our watchers, I want you to understand, we don't put the coaches on there because clearly Bill Parcells would have been on there if that were the case. And just like now moving on, talking about the Raiders, I mean, they've had some great coaches. Obviously, John Madden. Everyone knows John Madden. Flores, was a great coach, but we're not putting coaches on there. So we're talking about players. So
you want to give me the Ravens?
Oh well, you know what? I keep messing this up because I keep lumping you with your dad. For the Ravens, that's almost too easy, isn't it?
You can't take from one air for the Ravens.
So let's just drop two right off the top. Okay. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Yep, those were the two I knew you were going to say.
So that's two.
Same era, pretty much. Right?
Lamar Jackson's on there.
Yep, 100%
already. So now, don't tell me Justin Tucker. No, I'm just playing. Hey, listen.
I mean, he is a GOAT.
I mean, if things hadn't transpired the way they did, he absolutely could have been on there. I'm thinking maybe like a Terrell Suggs maybe could be on there.
Suggs be up there.
I would just, for argument purposes, would say Jonathan Ogden. He was their first draft choice.
Boom, done, bam.
Right?
There it is.
And I mean, he was pretty darn good.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He was a wall for his whole life.
Yeah. And I remember he was at St. Albans in DC, where I'm from, and that guy's a monster. So was that too easy?
I would put Mr. Joe Flacco on there if I had to. Just watching him be a part of that.
I'm almost afraid to look over in the booth at Allen right now. I'm literally afraid to look over there.
I mean, look, Joe Flacco to Patrick Mahomes. I got many demons as a Niner fan. It's okay. It's okay.
But I just want you guys to know he's a 49ers guy.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, same.
I almost was afraid to look at you.
It's okay. It's okay.
What do you think? Would Flacco, is he a guy that, I mean, he won a Super Bowl there?
Yeah, no, Flacco is a guy I think many would consider. But I don't think the Ravens have two quarterbacks worth of a Mount Rushmore.
That's true.
Well, what about, I know.
But that's the similar thing with Eli then.
Yeah,
like
but that would be my
Eli
argument too. I don't think Phil and Eli, like if you're going to do a Mount Rushmore and you have two quarterbacks, you got to have like when Niners had Montana and Young or something like that. Like it's got to be.
There's no debate.
Yeah, it's got to
was their best quarterback.
Yeah, it's got to be something along those lines. I feel like the Ravens technically are a very young franchise in comparison to others. Like,
yeah, they've only been around. Was this their 26th season or something like that? So I think
it would be, to me, it would be a little off for two quarterbacks. To be on
but in fairness to what Zach is saying, if you think about it, the guys that we named were on those Super Bowl teams.
Yeah. And
who was the guy that led them? Who was their quarterback?
Yeah.
Do a team picture.
So Jonathan Ogden. So would you remove Ogden and put Flacco on there?
I mean, I agree. It is tough to have two quarterbacks on.
I have some, like, I know that same thing as Tucker. Tucker had his off the field issues, but speaking of a great Raven with some bad off the field issues, Ray Rice.
Yeah, but no, I wouldn't put Ray on there. I mean, and I remember Ray all the way back at Rutgers, and he got a bad deal. You know, what happened was atrocious. As a man, you never do that ever. But he and his wife moved on from that, but no one else let them move on from that, and that was a rough deal. I'm not saying I wouldn't put him on there because of that. I'm saying I wouldn't put him on there because, I mean, was Ray ever like a multi-year Pro Bowler or an All Pro? I don't think so.
I thought he was. I might be mistaken.
I think he may have made one Pro Bowl, but yeah, I don't even know if I would have Ray Rice as a top 10 Raven. Yeah, that's just me. That's just me. But this was good. This was good. And you guys know, as one of my sponsors, you guys are more than welcome to come in here anytime. We can do this, till the cows come home, so to speak. So we've got to get ready to take a break. And when we come back, we have another guest coming on. And you guys are more than welcome to hang around too, But we have another guest coming on, and I'm not going to say anything. You just gotta come back and you'll see who it is, and we'll talk about what she's doing. She's doing some great stuff on YouTube right now, and she comes on my fan show on Friday. She's part of the family. So when we come back, you'll see who's in the building with us right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. welcome as well. And you're listening on 103.7 FM. Right now, I got a special guest, another guest joining me. And this is a special guest because she's someone that supports me. She comes on our fan show that we have on every Friday. It's basically Commanders fans, but it's NFL ready. If you're an NFL fan, you can come on. But the Commanders fans, Commanders Nation's kind of taking that over. And she's one of the participants on there. So she's shown me a lot of love and support. So I'm going to do the same for her because she has a YouTube channel now, and it's Onside Kicking It with Lady Erica Lynn. Erica, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and you live here in Richmond, so I was like, you know what? No need to call in. We're going to have you come in here. We're going to talk about your show on YouTube and your love for the burgundy and gold. And
absolutely.
This is a team that's made a lot of moves, and we talk about it all the time on here. But I want to talk about Adam Peters to you because people are always accuse me of propping Adam up and always defending him and always showing him too much love. And I'm like, that's my dude. But how can you not like what this guy has done over the last 3 years?
You have to love it. Like, to me, when he first came in, everybody was all hype about Adam Peters. We're getting him from San Francisco, And yes, the first year was a little trying,
Yeah.
But I always say you got to give that man 3 years. And now this year you are starting to see his hands on this team, what the team is actually going to look like. Because when he came in, he only had what he was left.
And it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot either.
Crumbs.
So yes. I give Adam, let AP cook is what we say.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing.
And think about it. You see not just the draft, but some of these undrafted free agents that he's brought in. Some of these guys are going to push some people. I mean, the kid from SMU, the defensive tackle, he's literally a mountain of a person.
Yes.
And think about it. Durante Jones, new defensive coordinator, everyone has a clean slate. He hasn't seen anyone on the field, so to speak, outside of film, of course. Mm-hmm. So if you're an undrafted free agent, if you're one of the draft picks and you were a late round draft pick, it doesn't matter with two new coordinators. Your eyes, are right there for you to be able to show their eyes something if you do what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Well, you know what they always say in the Commander Nation is like, it's all about competition.
Yep.
And that's what they have brought to the table. Like, nobody's safe.
Yeah. Well, there's only one.
Yeah, JD5, of course.
There's only one, but you know what? Guess what they did? They drafted a quarterback in the 7th round, not to replace Jaden. Don't go crazy here. But I'm just saying, they drafted a quarterback that they can develop to ultimately be the guy to replace Marcus Mariota.
Right.
So last year, we know it was a train wreck. It was pretty bad. The injuries besieged the season before it even started. We had the Terry holdout. Just the mojo was not there. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that buzz again? As a fan, do you feel that buzz again going into this season that you just can't wait for everything to start up?
Absolutely. I feel it. To me, and I hate to keep harping back on 2024, but that buzz that we had then,
it was good.
It's this. I don't know about anybody else or any other fans, but I feel that too. Like, it's like, this is something, even with picking up number 7, Sonny Styles. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about this today, and I'm like, you know what? The way he came in, the way that he is mature, and how he's a student of the game, it reminds me of when Jaden came in. They kind of got that same character, like all about ball, trying to do things the right way, all about the brotherhood, and he wanted to be a Commander.
Yeah. And, I always say, this locker room is filled with a bunch of, pit bulls on the field. Off the field, they're puppies. I mean, and that's okay because it used to be the other way around. Unfortunately, there was a lot of guys that were puppies on the field, loudmouth pit bulls off the field. But now, you can see the direction. And I agree with you, Erica, that when you see what Adam has done, now I really feel like he's had a chance to really turn over this roster. Obviously Coach Dan Quinn's part of this as well. And you can see that the type of players that they're bringing in, I just got something today from the team. that they mentioned that we could put out if we want as media. But it was, Lawrence Cager. He's a tight end, and he's a tight end that they feel pretty good about as well. So remember his name. And then also Kaylavon Chasen. They both were at an event in town in D.C., for flag football, but they were throwing footballs to kids at their recess. So they're already doing community service. And I'm saying that because Kaylavon Chasen just got here, and now he's already trying to indoctrinate himself into the community. It just goes to show you the type of people that they're building this roster with.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it all the way around. I mean, even with this bad season that we had last year, these guys never held their head down. They kept being strong and supporting each other and everything like that. So it's good to see somebody like, what's his name? Kaylavon Chasen.
Yep.
It's good to see that he's already putting himself out there in the community, making it a home, So you never know, because most people, they end up playing here and they end up making DC their home.
Yeah, they do. And that's the other thing. Like, when was the last time you saw people want to come to Washington?
Right.
And well, let me rephrase that. Want to come to Washington to win and play football, not come to Washington to wear masks under their helmets because they were getting overpaid and they were fleecing people on their way out of their career. Yeah. So now you have guys that want to be here. And I do believe that is something I said about 2 years ago. I said, watch the Jaden Daniels effect take place. When you have a quarterback, when you have a young quarterback, when you have a quarterback that everyone recognizes as uber talented and special, it makes it easier to sign guys because they say this team should be winning because of who they have at their quarterback position.
Absolutely. And it ain't just offensive players.
Yeah.
You got defensive players that's coming in and saying, I want to play with Jaden. Because they saw what he did. He went into Detroit and
had no business doing that either.
I mean, and I think that was one of his best games of his career, as far as a Washington Commander. Like, they saw that.
That's a brilliant analogy right there. And I agree. I think that the run that they had in those playoffs, it showed people when the kid is healthy, when he's healthy, when the team is healthy. And I don't want to keep putting that on Jaden because everybody got a little bit of that injury bug last year.
Absolutely.
When he is healthy, when the team is healthy, I think they're closer to being a Super Bowl contender than I think a lot of people think they are. I looked at a couple power rankings today, and some of my colleagues, I'm not calling anybody out by name, I'm not, but some of them like, man, pass me up when we see each other because I saw one that had them at 24. What roster are they breaking down? And are they
25?
And are they not discounting the fact of the injuries from last year?
I think they are.
24? That's low. That's like disrespectful.
That's very low. And they already I think we're 7 wins. They're predicting 7 plus wins.
Let's bring Alan on with us because Erica, I don't want anyone to say you're biased because you're a Commanders fan. I don't want anyone to say I'm biased because I'm NFL media, so I can't be biased. But I'm from DC, so yeah, maybe a little bit. But Alan here, he's a 49ers guy, and he's not from DC either. So let's. Is 24 too low for you for a power ranking for right now for Washington?
Yes, it's a little bit low.
A little disrespectful too, right?
But I think they power rankings and the formulas that go into that typically take you for what you were last year. They can't account for if people are healthy and things like that. So they're going to be disrespectful because last year wasn't a good year for you guys.
See, I don't buy that. You know why I don't buy that?
I mean, it's how it is, though.
Because everyone's healthy now.
Yeah.
And I'm taking that into consideration too. I'm taking into consideration the injuries that your team, the Niners, had. I'm taking into consideration the injuries that Detroit never seems to escape. 24, man, is for teams that are hopeless.
Yeah. It's not for teams with franchise quarterbacks.
I was getting ready to say that.
Yeah. Right. And we're talking about a guy that, Miss Erica, when I broke down, and Alan, we broke down a couple weeks back, the top quarterbacks in the league, and where did we put Jaden? And between he and I both, Jaden fell at 5 on mine, and I think it's 6 on yours, Alan. So That's not where you put a team at 24. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So there's a little bit of hate in that. So again, I'm not calling out the person who put that out there, but walk by me when you see me, because I know who you are. So let's do this. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm still going to have Miss Erica on with me. And remember, folks, Erica's just started her YouTube channel. How long ago was that?
About 2 months.
I mean, how's it going for you so far?
It's going pretty good. I definitely enjoy it. Learning a lot.
I tell people all the time, like when they watch our fan show and they hear you and they hear your takes on things, they're like, man, she knows her stuff. And I'm like, of course she does. And because she does, I'm telling you, make sure you check out her YouTube channel. It's Onside Kicking It with Lady Erica Lynn. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll have more with Erica and myself right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Also, earlier we had two representatives from the Cabell Childress Group, one of my show's sponsors. Appreciate, Zach and the guys from coming on. And now I have Miss Erica Lynn joining me. She's a big time supporter of mine, comes on our fan show on Fridays, but she's got her own thing and it's doing really well. So make sure you check her out on Onside Kicking It with Lady Erica Lynn. You heard what I did with the gentleman before, where I kind of put him on the spot and asked him to give me their Mount Rushmores. Mm-hmm. So I think this one's going to be real juicy. This is going to be a real good one here to find out what your Mount Rushmore is for the burgundy and gold. Okay. We're talking about former Redskins, former Braves, if you want to go that far back. Now the Washington football team and now the Commanders. So do you want me to go first or you want to go first?
It's 4, right?
It's 4. Yep.
I give it to you. Give it to you all.
All right. And listen, no coaches. So we know Joe Gibbs would have been number 1 probably. Okay. So we're not doing that. All right. I'm going to go. We're going to start it off with Darryl Green. Darryl Green. And I just need to know if you approve.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Darryl Green is number 1 on there. Number 2. You know me, I'm a historian, and you have to pay homage, to who came before you. So I'm going to go Sammy Ball. Okay. All right. So we got Sammy Ball.
Yep.
On there.
I got that.
And just so y'all know, folks, when I'm looking down in the video, you obviously, if you're listening to this, you don't see this, but if you're watching, yeah, it's not because I'm looking at my laptop. I'm writing things down on my remarkable tablet. So I have this etched in stone. Okay. So Darryl Green, Sammy Ball. This is where it's going to get real interesting because there are several great players that are worthy of this. I also like to think if you played the bulk of your career, if not all of it in Washington, that should make you worthy of being on the list. And so because of that, I think a guy by the name of Charlie Taylor might end up being on there, or Chris Hanburger. And like I'm telling you, people are like, who is that? Chris Hanburger was a 7-time All-Pro linebacker, not Pro Bowler, All-Pro linebacker. So I'm going to stop with those 2, and I'm going to see what if you can come up with 2 more for me, and we'll have a joint Mount Rushmore.
I gotta put Sean Taylor on there.
Oh, that's so okay.
I got to.
Listen. He's one of my all-time favorite Commanders, but he only played, unfortunately, because we know what happened. But he only played for 4 seasons. So let's go over here to the jury over here to Alan. We know and love Sean Taylor and know how special he was, but you can't put him on Mount Rushmore, can you?
Yeah, I think unfortunately his career was too short to be on the Mount Rushmore for a story franchise like the Commanders.
Whose Mount Rushmore is this?
Yeah, that's true. It's Erica's.
It is. Yeah,
whose is this? Okay. I like that. Okay, so for Erica, that's Sean Taylor. He's on there. Okay, so what else you got?
I think this guy doesn't get talked about enough. Like, he gets talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with number 44.
John Riggins. See, John Riggins is definitely a guy that I had in contention. But John Riggins, and I'm just saying a but, you know, because you still got to see some of these guys. Hey, what you mean you put me on the list? John Riggins was formerly a New York Jet.
Mm-hmm.
And John Riggins, when he was in Washington, really didn't get going until he was 30 plus. People don't realize when they were winning the Super Bowls with John Riggins and he's breaking, you know, Freeman McNeil, or you know, McNeil from the Dolphins, pushing them to the ground in the Super Bowl run. I think John Riggins was like 35, you know, then. So that's your list. I'm going to put him on your list. Okay. So John Riggins is on Erica's list. That's not bad. I'm not hating. All right. We got about 3 minutes, you know, before we wrap up. So we'll you got 2, I have 2. So now I'm going to put on this list, it's between Art Monk and Charlie Taylor as far as my two I'm gonna pick one of them. I'm gonna go Charlie Taylor. I know people are gonna say, what are you talking about? Art Monk had a single season record while he was playing. He's won 2 Super Bowls. Charlie Taylor was a bad dude,
yes,
man.
He was.
He was a bad dude. And I say that not remembering him. I'm too young for that. But no, I'm just playing. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go Charlie Taylor on mine. So that's my third. What about your third?
Art Monk.
Boom. That's a really good one. People are going to say, Lake, man, she bodied you on here. Her list is way better. All right. So you have Sean Taylor, John Riggins, Art Monk. I have Darrell Green, Sammy Ball, Charlie Taylor. Final person. What you got?
I don't know. It's hard.
This is tough. See, this is where I think Chris Hamburger could come into play, man.
Chris Hamburger.
You
know what?
Russ Grimm, Joe Jacoby,
Dexter
Manley, Charles Mann, Gary Clark, Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, Mark Rippon,
Mosley. What's his name? The kicker.
Mark Mosley, who was the last. I got a stat. Do you know what he was?
Super Bowl MVP.
He was the last league MVP as a kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Alan, you can you think of anyone that you were throwing there that we've missed?
Yeah, I mean, Monk, Darrell Green would have been on there for me. No, I mean, well, you know what? Can I get a hog on there?
That's what we were saying.
Yeah, Russ Grimm.
Yeah,
Russ Grimm.
Give me a hog on there.
All right, so Russ Grimm.
But you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
This is all old school football team. Like, we don't have no.
History is kind to you, but the current.
This is exactly why I brought her on, because I say this to young heads all the time. You don't know this franchise to be worth nothing, because we going way back. I mean, we didn't even name some other guys. So this was good. So we got to get ready to wrap this up. We got like 30 seconds left. So I got to give you a lot of love, Erica. I appreciate you coming in here, taking time out, coming in the studio. Make sure you check Lady Erica Lynn out. So it's Onside Kicking It with Lady Erica Lynn. You can check her out on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is easy on YouTube. It's at Lake Lewis Jr. All right. So appreciate you joining us. We'll be back here, same time, same place on Tuesday. We've got some announcements coming up next week as far as a show change time, moving up to, can I say it, Alan? 3 o'clock. Show will be Tuesdays, Thursdays, same place, same time, or same location, but it'll be from 3 to 4. I got to do that for my NFL schedule coming up.